So, on to another review for another fragrance, and this time it's Paul Smith London, which is, as far as I'm aware, it's been discontinued. So, little side note, um, again, following on from my Dupe Jump EDT review, this is an EDP. Now, when I bought this back in the day, so many years ago, projection, performance, compliments, all good. And I don't know what it is. It's not just nostalgia. I know people say this, and smell change, taste change, blah, 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 as you get older. But I just feel that, and I think a lot of people agree with me here, or people with experience of fragrances and just things in general in life, that things get watered down, things get reformulated, rechanged, changed in subtle ways that people might not pick up on. Price goes up, quality goes down, or stays the same, but you lose on different elements or different things. So if I was reviewing this back in the day, without going over the notes and that, which I'll go over in a minute, 9 out of 10. And it's just a shame. I think everybody has this with different things in life again. Losing out or not getting to experience a product at the time, and then when they try, find out through friends or family or reviews online, they want to experience this product or fragrance, they have missed the boat and they've lost that opportunity because now you can no longer get it or the price is ridiculous. Now, I was lucky enough to find one of these online on a website, because I was looking long and hard all over the internet to manage to find this, because again it was discontinued, and I remember it being a beast mode fragrance back before that was even a term, and it was just really powerful. It was almost like, from what I remember, it was just like different and no one was wearing it. It was like Paul Smith, obviously after that they brought out like a green version that was like lime green, and then there was an extreme version that was purple, and so on. It was a mixture of both this and the green. And then they had I remember again mid 2000s they were fairly popular in terms of when I'm going out clubbing, which is basically every weekend, going out drinking. Dupe, Armani, Calvin Klein, these were the sort of fragrances of the time in the clubbing scene, at least in the UK, where it was very popular. So it's a shame that, again, I managed to track down a bottle of the original that's slightly been reformulated and changed. So maybe that's even why they ended up discontinuing it, because reviews and people buying it wasn't as impressed as with the original. I don't know. You never really do know unless you work for the company, and even then, you don't always know. So we'll go over the notes for this Paul Smith London. I think I mentioned, it's an EDP. So again, this was, if you're trying to buy it now from this website, it's no longer available, so there's no point in mentioning the website. I could only find versions of this on eBay. So ranging from £40 to £100, various sizes. So bit of a range there. I'm not going to say it's not worth it, but like, if you're paying £100 and it's not as good as it used to be back in the day, and you've experienced that, you'd be really disappointed. I believe I paid closer to £55 for this delivered from a website, which I thought was a steal at the time, where the reality is, in my mind, I'm thinking, cool, I've saved 50 quid off the £100 I could have bought, which I was willing to buy, because this used to be a really good fragrance. It was, in my opinion, well worth £100. Albeit back then you could probably get it for like £20-30 because of the price differences and so on over the years. But it's not that I'm going to say I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. Still a good fragrance, so just not as good as it was before. Kind of like what my previous review was of Dupe Jump. It's just reformulated. It's a bit gutting, to be honest, because again, when something's up, when something's changed. If you're in tune or have experience of something, when something's been changed, and it's just a real shame, because it is what it is. So Paul Smith London, a stunning blend of freshly crushed spices and sparkling green mandarin, wrapped with timeless and elegant violet leaves, a delicate floral accent of fresh jasmine, twisted with a hint of lavender and frosted mint, a luxurious vintage brandy accord, and I like brandy, I drink brandy. There are other like things I can say, but I do this. I think people are like that. It's like, oh, I love jasmine, or I love rose. It's just a thing that people do. But it's weird that I mentioned the brandy with that, because again, how I used to perceive the original, I didn't really get brandy. If anything, there was something in it that made me smell coconutty. If you know, but anyway, again, people perceive things different. Fresh Australian sandalwood enhances the unique sensuality of tonka beans and amber. The deep blue colour of the bottle and packaging remind us of the London night. So, yeah, the ingredient profile is pretty solid. Yeah, pretty solid. And again, like, I do the smell test, even smell review, even though, like, as I said, I've gone over the notes, but just to kind of rekindle the kind of the lost memories of how strong and how potent and how really, really masculine this was. This was something that you could wear in a club. This is something that you could wear to a restaurant. And if you want to like just get compliments at work, in an office scene, scenario, or wherever, a date especially, I think it did really well, or it used to. It's still decent, it's just not as strong as it used to be. So okay, let's just dry that down. So again, ooh, I'm getting them memories flood back when you when you put something on that you know you really enjoy. It's almost like a time machine, a time capsule. It takes you back to good memories of almost said dates and so on, but just yeah, it's you get emotional. Like, this is another thing why I like reviewing fragrances, especially because and even drinks for other people or places or whatever. It's a nice feeling of like nostalgia, that takes you back maybe to simpler times, or when you had good memories of something. But anyway, so it's very strong. The initial smell, as I said, like my arm was here and I'm getting the notes, and again the coconut is still there. That it's not that that's an ingredient, but that's I smell it. It's just like fresh. It's spicy, like coconut. A bit like yeah, it's just so nice. It's like mine. That's how I've described it. Again, you need to smell it yourself. You need to smell it on your own skin. Yes, you can do it on the card. I've mentioned this probably every video that I've done, but it's never the same. I can't really trademark this because it might have already been said. It's never the same as on the skin. And it isn't. It just, the minute it's on the card, you get that initial burst and people are like, oh, I love that. I'm going to go and buy that, blah, 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 blah. And I've been there and I've made that schoolboy error. But when it's on the skin, and as this is an EDP, the dry down, it gets smoother. When it first starts, it's very strong. It's very potent. Not going to say knock yourself out, you're not, you know, but when you put it on, it just gives you like this aura. And again, some of the better fragrances with that projection do that. You feel confident from it, because you know not only are you smelling it, but certain distance away from you, be it 1 foot, 2 foot, whatever, or even more. Some not that I've ever experienced it, but they say some of the beast mode fragrances are like room fillers, you know. And it's just really nice. It's really pleasant. The weird thing is, even though it's masculine and it seems dark and like kind of moody and going out, you know, putting on a nice outfit, doing your hair, you know, that kind of, just get this image with this fragrance. It's just sort of like, and again, I don't want to be that guy going, oh, it's bad, but with bad boy fragrance, oh, he's a bad boy, or you know, like images of Danny Dyer or whatever. It's just, it kind of, you get that kind of vibe from certain fragrances, like with the Juke Jump, going back to with the fresh and the clean in the gym, you know, that kind of nice, that image of yourself. Where with this, it's definitely going out more so than a gym environment. It's going out on a date, not even a meal. It's like going out with intention, if I can, you know, word it appropriately. but it's just an essential. That might be a good word to use. It's just, it feels very, you know, like me wearing it, you know, it feels, not that I'm not aware if there was ever a female version of this, but it's sweet as well. So I don't want to say it's unisex, but it's just very, because it's so powerful and because it's very masculine and spicy, you know it's a male fragrance, but at the same time it's got sweetness to it and it's clean. So it ticks a lot of boxes, but, and we'll end on this, but the original was like this, that lasted hours, where this, I'll be honest, within about 3 to 4 hours, it fades big time. And you've still got the remnants as a skin scent, but it doesn't have that kind of projection, and obviously the longevity is going down. So again, retrospective, I would give this a 7. I don't do 0.5s with this. I could do, but you know, I'm not going to. I just don't want to overcomplicate it. I'll just be to the point. So 7 out of 10. If it was the original with the longevity and that constant projection, it would be a 9. So it's difficult. And you think, why would you take the 2 points off, or the 2 big marks? And justifiably, because I've used the original and the original offered me that, and I spent less money. And now it's discontinued. It's harder to get hold of, or harder to source online. And the problem with that is that it might be a mixed bag. You could get a dupe, a fake, or you could spend £100 on eBay and get the real McCoy, the original. But how old is it? Has it been opened? As far as I'm aware, fragrances have a shelf life, some of them, as far as I'm aware, or from what someone told me or what I read. So yeah, big disappointment. It's still really nice. It's going to be really nice for a long time, but then once it fades, it's a skin scent. It's still nice, but it's so nice that you want it to project. You want the radiance. You want, for me at least, how it used to be. So yeah, 7 out of 10. And I keep saying that because I really want to, if it had the longevity that it had, and the radiance and projection that it had, 9, maybe even a 10, because it's perfect. What you can't, well, nothing in life's perfect, but you get what I mean. It's very hard to fault. But yeah, just to kind of show the bottle again. Paul Smith London. It's more like a purple violet-y colour. Yeah, just it's a bit gutting really, because again, I would really recommend this if you could get the original, but it'll probably be out of your control, and it'll probably be really hard to get the original from years ago. You'll probably be left with, if you're lucky, or if you choose to purchase it, like the version I've got. But a solid 7 out of 10. 4 hours worth, maybe a little bit longer than it's a skin scent, but for them 4 hours, really nice, spicy, sweet, masculine, ticks all the boxes, as they say. So yeah, I'm like gutted. I'm just not, it could be worse. I could have bought a fake or something that smells awful, but just knowing how good the original was, it was like, yeah, what can you do, eh?